What's up guys, it's Drac, and today we have a very special package. This package comes to us from my friend Captain Slug, and just like hats off to Slug. Like, he's doing incredible work for the hobby. He's one of very few people who is like from my generation, if not before, of Nerfers. He's also one of very few people who can claim to have cranked out as many commissioned blasters as me. Like, he is just a really, really cool guy, and I'm thrilled that he's still running around, and in addition to a full-time job, he is constantly iterating his designs. And so, whereas like iterating caliburns is something that a lot of people are doing, he's the only one who miniaturized them quite like this. So today we're going to be talking about the contents of this box, and it should be, with a little bit of luck, my E.S.P.E.R. E.S.P.E.R stands for elastic something 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 something, but what it really is my shard of Alara. That's some deep level nerd humor for you guys. Don't worry about it. There's a reason that my company is called Aethernaut Inc. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out what Slug has in here. Hey Drac, here's another thing, Captain Slug. P.S. I'll let you guys read that if you want to read that, but I don't think we have to read that out loud on camera. I love Slug's notes. We're very self-aware, I guess, at this point in the hobby of like, hey Drac, here's a thing. So, got a little bit of packaging material here. Unless this has the elastic inside, which I don't think it does. And then we have this, and then we have the E.S.P.E.R parts list. So what the E.S.P.E.R is the E.S.P.E.R is a miniature caliburn designed to work with half-length magazines, and that is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and free it from its packing material prison here. And before we take this one out, I want to acknowledge something. When this was first debuted, Slug lets the community really play with a lot of his designs, and so my buddy Crow over at Second Guest Productions and I put this together, and this is like our take on the E.S.P.E.R. The barrel's a little too long, which gives it slightly higher FPS. It's got a ghetto strife muzzle duct taped to it so that we could use it at ADL. I have some footage that I'm going to put after this video of me using this specific E.S.P.E.R at ADL, rather than give you chronograph readings that are A, public knowledge, and B, irrelevant. The E.S.P.E.R shoots anywhere from like 70 to 150, depending upon how many bands and what strength bands you put on it. So this has three very small bands in terms of their elastic potential energy. They're not super duper strong, but this is what I was using. I like these bands. They were the bands that I used to use when I was doing crossbolt mods, because they're tougher than Nerf elastic, but they're significantly weaker than the stuff that Slug is using. So anyway, this was our take. It's not numbered, but it does have the CS logo because it's using predominantly his file set. We took a Caliburn AFG and added it onto the top because we didn't have the brace bit that kind of locks this in, but you guys can see there, that's priming back and forward. Adding the AFG was kind of cool. I have no idea what Slug did to mine specifically that's going to make it different than a regular one. He was just like, I made you an E.S.P.E.R, and I was like, cool, make it cool. Like, at this point, he knows me well enough to know what I like. So this is E.S.P.E.R number 13, because 13 is my jam. Pretty much all of my stuff is 13. It has 3 bands. The Slug band should be a lot stronger. It has a PET G barrel instead of an aluminum one, and it's got translucent red and dark red and an LMAO grip. So the LMAO grip is kind of latching into these teeth here, and that looks super duper hot. I like that a lot. You can see this one does have a top bar up here to kind of stabilize along its length. Ooh, that's comfy. I like that. And then the translucent plunger is actually super duper hot. Tooth and nail is not compatible with this plunger, sadly. It's not compatible with the sear, at least the ones that I was testing were not. Now the trigger of course would be, but I'm not gonna break up the set. And then Slug knows that I'm a big fan of the LMAO grip, but the thing that's really, really cool going on in here is Slug has included, I guess he calls this the do anything magwell, but it means that it'll not only take katanas, but also talons. When this design was first released, only katanas were out, and so this E.S.P.E.R only takes katanas, but this should take both, so we brought both out to test it, and this should shoot a little bit harder than mine, even though the barrel is shorter because it's got the proper elastic. Now, it's also got a brace here, which mine does have, but the general premise of this is that it breaks open like this and then connects back. Looks like this is significantly thicker here in the LMAO grip, as though I ever wanted to add a handguard. But overall, like, this is a Caliburn pistol, so to speak. So let's go ahead, prime it back. We'll start with a Katana magazine, and you can see kind of how this dual magazine release works. It's very clean, it's very cool. So you have to put it all the way up until it hits the dart stop, but let's go ahead and have all this mucking about with the magazine, and I've created a jam. So there we are, that's fine, and you can see it pushing that worker dart in. That's kind of cool that you can see how chambered you are. So fire. Uh-oh. Did I double feed? Oh, I definitely double fed. Okay, so try that one more time. Oh. It's so close though. Escape velocity, Captain. We're gonna make it. Oh! Alright, we did it. So you can see that it does take... It's just not digging these worker darts for whatever reason. There we go. That one seems to be kind of aligned. Woo! That was hot. Alright, excellent. So that one's perfect. Alright. If you prime it a little too fast, you do get some slight vacuum loading, and there's a chance that the worker darts, since they have these rubber tips, will roll over in the E.S.P.E.R barrel, but man, I love that pop noise it makes. So like I said, I mean, it's a Caliburn pistol. I've got some footage of using this one, but I do want to just kind of make my point here, test out this Talon magazine, and it is, again, the chambering. Like, you could already tell. You could tell when you've rolled the dart over. Yep. Come on, dart. Escape. There we are. All right, we'll try once more. I think you'd have to play around a little bit with what dart you want to use, but as long as you're chambering them properly. The ability to use both magazines is also like crazy cool. And then I have this from Than out in California, but this is a Katana, because again, I don't think there's any reason to buy these anymore. The Talon magazines have superior construction if you want molded ones, and they're cheaper and they're easier to get your hands on. I get mine from Foam Blast. And then if you wanted specifically Katana geometry for like a ubiquitous magazine that doesn't have to have the funky release, I think that you should just print them, and then they can match. It's almost, is it the same filament? That's wild. I think that this is the same filament, and these were not coordinated at all. Slugs over on the East Coast, and Than sent this to me from over in California. Thanks, Than. But we're getting the same performance out of that as well. So, I mean, overall, ultra slick design. I know that the joke is that you give Slug money. So, if you want to give Slug money and you'd like an E.S.P.E.R of your very own, he's doing the same sort of custom color, custom orders. You could get an LMAO grip. You could get it with a transparent piece inside here. I'm sure that you could get either magwell, although he might just be doing these magwells at this point to guarantee consistency. But I like this top bar up here. I still might go ahead and add my own AFG, although gripping this like this just isn't that bad at all. The E.S.P.E.R barrel is cool. I like in particular that you could see if you're chambered, or in particular if you're double chambered, or I could tell the one time that I rolled the dart over here, like I could tell that that's exactly what was happening, so it's not like I had to take it apart to correct the jam. But uses predominantly Caliburn hardware. The hardware kits are cheaper and the printed part set is less. You don't need as much printed stuff, so it's a good way to finish off whatever roll you did for your Caliburn as like a matching E.S.P.E.R set. I dig these. Like, I'm more of a full-size rifle guy, but like, this is a cool pistol and it delivers the hits. So anytime we get extra like fully homemade blasters for the Nerf community wins, and this is no exception. So a largely compatible caliber and hardware pistol setup, yeah, count me in. Half-length dedicated, comes built in, super duper sweet. So I'm very excited about this. Like I said, I've already taken this one out to an atomic game, and I'll show you some footage of that coming up now. But big believer in this. Captain Slug, link in the description box below. Link to the Thingiverse for the E.S.P.E.R if you want to wrestle through printing one yourself. Obviously it can be done very, very easily and cleanly, and I'm sure the part sets update as frequently as the Caliburn ones do, which means getting a dedicated katana one would be tricky at this point. But super duper sweet. Really wanted to showcase the power of that multi-magazine magwell. That was not easy. It's very clever. It's like almost impossible for you guys to see this, but there's two separate releases, and since these magazines have two separate levels where their mag releases are, there's two detents, and it's like having two releases off the same button where the one that's not in use just gets pushed in like this and out of the way. It's very, very clever, very, very cool. Let's show you some war footage so that you can see the E.S.P.E.R delivering some hits. War footage never does well on YouTube, like specifically YouTube syncs Nerf war footage in its algorithm, so it would mean a lot to me if you would watch it, if that's your jam. Obviously, if you don't want to watch me run around and play Atomic, there's no need, but links in the description box below. Again, Thingiverse, Captain Slug, and we'll go ahead and we'll throw Foam Blast for the magazines, the Thingiverse for 3D printed Katanas magazines if you're interested, and then we'll also link to Second Guess Productions because it was a huge help getting this together so that I could have one of these as soon as possible to take it to the field and do battle. So thank you guys very much for watching. Check out this war footage. Much love. Nerf on, Drac out.
That was a good strategy, boys. I loved it. Whee! Still in the back. He's in a slingshot. He's in a slingshot. Hey, if it works. Oh. What are you doing?